Are you guilty of occasionally losing your temper and yelling at your child? In her book, Why Can't You Catch Me Being Good?, Dr. Edythe Denkin says you really need to focus on what your child is doing right and find positive ways to address difficult situations. Dr. Denkin is a certified marriage and child specialist, motivational speaker, and author. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Well, sometimes the best parents in the world do resort to yelling. I try to avoid it. I start being very calm at the very beginning, but then eventually it happens.
Well, this happens for every parent, okay?
No, we're not perfect.
No, we're not. We never did it before. It's our first time. Even with the next child, it's a different personality. It's also our first time. But what we need to do is kids want you to mean what you say and say what you mean. That's so important, because when you say it and they know that you mean it, they'll listen a lot better than if you just say it and then you say something else and you don't follow through.
But I actually do say what I mean, and sometimes it just doesn't go through.
Well, that's true.
Right?
That happens. So you want to tell them. I'll just tell you a quick story.
Okay.
That I remember so vividly. Because I had twins, never had kids before in my life, and there I have these two little adorable kids, but there were two. No help, no money, nothing. And one day, one of the twins said to me, "Mommy, we don't like it when you yell." So I said, "Well, what am I supposed to do? I tell you what to do, and you don't listen." So they said, one of them, I don't remember which one, "Mommy, we will listen. Just tell us." So I said, okay, but what's going to happen when you don't listen?
That's right.
So I said, how about if we make a plan? And we made a plan each time, there would be a consequence. If you don't listen, we won't have time to go out to the playground. Or, something else will be late.
So you come up with a plan with your children, but...
With your child, yeah.
But you're supposed to be the parent telling the child what to do.
Right. You are problem solving with your child, and you're letting your child know that you're there with them.
Okay.
But you're in charge.
All right.
But you don't have to be authoritarian. You just don't. And you don't have to say, "I'll count to 3, 1, 2, 3. Mm-hmm. Why? Because that's just making you feel better. It's not helping the child.
So you say work with your child.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, this is interesting. You say that parents tend to treat their children according to who their child reminds them of. What do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, my best friend was visiting me at the time. My twins were 2. And she's my best friend. She didn't have a problem telling me anything. And she said, "I don't understand. Why are you so much harder on him than on him?" Well, I totally was not aware of that. And I said, "Am I really?" She said, "Yeah, you are." So I began to notice my behavior. And she's right. Now, the next question that came up is, I have identical twins, but one reminds me of somebody different than the other. And the children inevitably remind us of ourselves, our good self or our bad self. So when one of my twins, who was a little more aggressive than the other, he was a good kid, but he was a little more aggressive. When he even began to do something, I was on top of him. Where the other one, I didn't want him to be taken advantage of. So I was already picking up for one over the other and totally unaware.
So how should you break that cycle?
Well, yeah, I'm writing the next book that I'm writing is about how we do break the cycle, because the truth is that I thought I was just a parent, but I wasn't. I was parenting my children, but I was also parenting the child within me. And we've got to get to know that child. Because my little child was hurt because she was taken advantage of when she was little. So there I am going to bat for the other one, and
right.
He needed to stand up on his 2 feet.
And those scars could be forever. Let's talk about some of the positive parenting that you have in this book of Why Can't You Catch Me Being Good? What are some of the things parents should be doing?
Okay, I have 26 principles of parenting, and they're pretty important.
What are some of the best tips?
A rule is a rule is a rule. You make a rule. You know,
Stick with it.
And you stay with it.
Okay.
And then you also say, if we don't do it, let's talk about what the consequences are going to be. So they grow up knowing that there's a rule and that there's consequences. And if you don't like the rule, let's talk about it. I'll be more than happy to change it as long as you're willing to listen.
So you have to have these discussions with your child.
Absolutely.
Constantly.
Yeah.
Right. What's it?
But the more you discuss with them, the more they get to know themselves. The problem is that we don't really know ourselves. We weren't raised that way. I'm talking about this whole new generation right now. When you're a mother and your child says, I don't want to eat that, and you say, well, I'm going to count, that doesn't help your child. Why did the child want to eat? Well, the rule is we have to eat. Okay? Let's find something that you would like. And if you don't like it, let's talk about it so that you can find out what you can eat and how you can do it.
So you also have to explain, though, that he has to have a nutritious meal. He can't be eating ice cream all the time.
No, you absolutely have to explain that. Absolutely. Yeah, and the child, if you're respecting that child, two things are happening. The child is respecting him or herself. That's major. And second, he knows that you're going to listen to him or her. So they react differently.
So they respect you as the parent as well.
Exactly. And when your child talks to you and you don't really hear the child or you don't answer them, they're knowing that they don't count. So they have to count. But not too much.
We're running out of time here, but I just want to add one more tip. Can you share one more?
Yeah, follow through, follow through, follow through.
Oh, yes.
There's nothing more important than that. So you need to say to your child, well, what can we do? This didn't work. I know you tried your best.
And the name of the book, again, is Why Can't You Catch Me Being Good? Dr. Denkin, thank you so much for being here, and we'll look forward to the next book that you're writing.
Yeah, because, thank you. The next book is teaching us how to reparent ourselves so that we're aware when we're upset with our child.
We all need that. Thank you again.
Thank you.